everyone, welcome to our first episode of First Take or Remake. We promised you that we would discuss our feelings on the latest craze, which is Disney live action remakes of classics from their beautiful back catalogue. We're going to do this in order. There are 5 remakes in total so far. First one is Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton. Second one was Maleficent. Third one was Cinderella. Then Jungle Book, and the latest in a long line of remakes, Beauty and the Beast, which we've already reviewed, and the link will be down below if you want to see deeper thoughts on that film. Want to jump right in with Alice in Wonderland. Director, Tim Burton. Cast, we had a new Alice, new unknown for Alice.
I'm not going to
Don't even try.
Yeah.
There was Alan Rickman, Stephen Fry, Matt Lucas.
Barbara Windsor.
Oh yeah, Barbara Windsor. Helena Bonham Carter, Johnny Depp.
Timothy Spall.
Yeah,
I think it's Paul Whitehouse as the March Hare.
Yeah, it just, when this film was originally announced years ago, the cast, we were like, everybody was sat there like, the cast sounds amazing. Tim Burton's amazing. It's Alice in Wonderland. It's going to be amazing. And no. It's a consensus is no, isn't it?
Yeah, it's what should have been a match made in heaven was a, go on Cole, you described it best.
A spawn from hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
CGI nightmare, just horrendous. It's one of the only films I've ever come out of and regretted paying money for. I was so devastated at how absolutely awful it was. But let's go into what was good about it, I guess. Anything? I mean, go on.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I could think of on top of my head was Helena Bonham Carter. Her performance as the Red Queen. The Red Queen, yeah. Her performance as Red Queen was really, really good. She really embraced the character from the original. She was shouty, she could snap at any moment, little things could set her off, and Helena Bonham Carter did justice to that. The only thing we can say, which would probably segue into the bad stuff, because we can't think of any more good points, is that her design looked awful, yeah.
The giant head and the little body, what was that? No. Carl, did you have anything good to say before we move on?
Just the fact that it shows characters that weren't in the original Disney film from the 1950s. Like, it showcased the Greyhound the Bloodhound, sorry, not the Greyhound. The Bloodhound, wrong dog. He wasn't in the original, but he's a prominent character in the books. And even though we still didn't get other characters like the Mock Turtle, but we still saw other characters like the Jabberwocky and the Bandersnatch, even though they were from a poem. So it's understandable why they weren't around the first time, and at least they're now in this one. And it basically is a different interpretation, just not a very good interpretation, to be honest.
Okay. So, I can't think of anything I liked about it. Nothing. It was nothing. Only Helena Bonham Carter, but we've already said that. Okay, so let's get into the reality of the situation, which was this was a horrific remake. Absolutely awful. It should have been amazing because of Tim Burton, because of, as we've said, the cast. I'm going to start off. For me, it was a CGI nightmare. When I heard Tim Burton was doing this film, I thought, the sets are going to be amazing. Oh, what sets?
Yeah, there were no sets. There were no sets.
It was, let's go play in the Matrix in Wonderland.
In 3D.
Oh my gosh. Underland didn't look like Wonderland, which is probably why it wasn't called Wonderland. It just was on acid, and don't get me wrong, we watched the original classics and the remakes back to back for this video. Not all in one session. Too much. But having watched the original Alice in Wonderland, it was so beautifully done, and the world was lovely and colourful, but it wasn't like an acid trip in your face type colourful. It was beautiful colour. And just the way... I'm not a fan of CGI.
I think when they announced Tim Burton doing Alice in Wonderland, well, at least this is where my mind went. As much as people don't like this particular Burton remake, I was with regards to sets, I was thinking Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The way they go onto the factory, well, not the factory floor, but the first floor where everything is edible. Yeah.
Yes.
And you could see that was set. It was colourful. It was all different shapes and sizes. It was typically...
It was right.
Burton, it felt more Burton-esque, and I think that's one of the positives of the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory remake. Besides everything, as a side note. But with this, everything was grey. It was grim. It was dark.
Too acidy.
It was just, there was no colour to this film in a world where there should have been colour.
More Blunderland than Wonderland.
Oh, Colt's on the puns today.
Yeah.
If you pardon the pun.
What else? Okay, so we've talked about the fact that CGI. Just the Johnny Depp butchered the Mad Hatter. I'm sorry, but he was awful, absolutely awful. I know the Mad Hatter in the original is completely off his head, which is the point. But Ginger, like orange hair, all the painted face, they made him into a clown. And the Mad Hatter in the original film is not a clown. He's just a man who wears hats, who's a bit off his head. And then they took it and they made it into this weird, painted idiot.
And they gave him they gave him a backstory. Well, they gave him a little bit of a backstory because he was like... because there's actually politics in this world. I think, which is probably my point.
No, you said about logic.
Yeah, basically there's logic and reasoning in a world where there shouldn't have been. It was meant to be a world... Wonderland is meant to be a world where it's surreal, nothing can be explained, it's full of madness.
Nonsense.
Nonsense. And in this world, there's a prophecy that needs to be fulfilled. There's a red queen or a white queen fighting over the land. There's politics. There's people who side with the red queen, people who side with the white queen, and are like protesting and everything. So it's just like, this is not Wonderland. This is like some kind of fairy tale that has just been incorporated into the Alice in Wonderland canon. So that for me was where it went wrong.
What about you, Carl?
I think there's a lot of unnecessary changes. Like, we would have been fine if it just I know it was trying to be different, but it didn't work. It was set 10 years afterwards. It's trying to be its own thing, but at the same time make a reference to it. And it's if you just paid more reference to the fact that it was it's more of a sequel. But but you don't treat it like a sequel as well. It's like Alice doesn't remember any of this. It's you'd think you'd remember stuff like that.
It's got you emotionally turmoiled.
Well, I don't know. I was just trying to think on the spot here, but yeah, it's just, it doesn't feel like a sequel or a remake. It just feels like it's trying to do both at the same time, but achieves nothing.
Yeah.
It's it's set 10 years after the original, even though it doesn't make enough reference to the original, and there's just a lot of unnecessary stuff to it. There's the whole battle, which every fantasy film has an epic battle at the end. It doesn't really need it.
It's not good enough. That's the point.
Yeah, and Mad Hatter goes Scottish when he gets really
angry. He goes Scottish.
That bloody dance. What was it called?
Flutter whacking. Oh God, what the hell was that?
No.
I cringed. I cringed when I saw that scene the first time.
I think I actually curled up in my seat. I was just I can't believe this is...
It's a joke.
It was, yeah.
It's bad enough just watching your family. Imagine seeing a whole group of people.
Yeah, it basically, like you say, it butchered characters. It butchered the whole scenery. It butchered its logic. It just completely butchered the lore, and that is Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah. Okay.
Stephen Fry was good as the Cheshire Cat, though. That was interesting.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
It was okay. Didn't make me go. It wasn't good enough for me to sit there when we were asking about good things and go, that was good.
Nah.
What, the hypocritical Cheshire Cat who goes, I never dabble in politics, yet always gets involved.
It's because it's Underland.
Yeah, it's Underland.
Okay, so we'll verdict this now. First take or remake? Colt win.
First take.
Do you think he likes the first take? John, first take or remake?
Oh, bloody first take. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I'm going to say no surprise, first take. Alice in Wonderland, Disney Classic Original, takes the trophy on this one. Off with its head for this remake. It was horrendous. We're burying it. It's gone. We'll never watch it again.
I have an excellent idea. Let's change the subject.
So, I'm laughing because I know what's next. The next film that came out after Alice in Wonderland was Maleficent.
Yeah.
Calm down, darling. Calm down. So, who directed it? Do we even know?
I don't know the guy's name, but I know what he did.
What did he do?
He did the CGI sets for Alice in Wonderland and Oz the Great and Powerful. That's his resume. That's what got him the gig.
No. Right, okay, well, we already hate that guy. Angelina Jolie. She is we've discussed this. She is the physical embodiment of what Maleficent would look like as a human being, taking animation and transforming it into real life. You couldn't have had more perfect casting. So the setup for this should have been fantastic. Should have been being the key phrase there. Sean is very passionate about this, as you may have seen in our previous videos. Okay then. So, we have to give it a fair shout, even though Sean's like cringing on the side there. What was good about it? And I'm going to go to Colt first, so that Sean's got long enough to think of something.
I do have 2 points, but one's more relevant to this film than the other.
Okay.
So I'll explain both anyway. One, at least it tried to modernize it, to give more depth to the main character. Although that didn't work either. By making her more sympathetic, giving her a backstory, giving her wings. The other thing that I took to the film, actually more than that point, is completely irrelevant. In the film, we find out that I didn't know this, but apparently in this is actual mythology basically, fairies actually cannot touch metal because they feel pain. It burns them, and it's like the reason why I mention this because they applied this rule to Pokemon because they introduced fairy type Pokemon and they're weak against steel type attacks. So the only other good thing from Maleficent has nothing to do with Maleficent.
The more you know. Sean?
Do you really want to ask?
I'm asking for a good thing. One thing that you thought wasn't as bad as the rest of all the other stuff. I know you've got 1 point because we talked about it yesterday. The Crow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll say Angelina Jolie's perfect casting. That's as much as I'm going to say. She was perfect casting. Was she actually perfected the role? It's another thing. But the Crow character, the Crow from the original Sleeping Beauties was in this film, and the fact that they made him basically human bird, human wolf, human dragon in this film actually allowed him to actually talk, express, and actually be a bit funny, almost be a little bit of a comic relief, but not be a complete in-your-face comic relief. And, he was actually the voice of reason for Maleficent in some areas, and that's why in some cases I do not like him, because I'm like, she does not need a voice of reasoning, she's bloody Maleficent. But in the end, it gave the Crow a bit more of a character, but I still think that the Crow in Sleeping Beauty is a lot stronger because in the end he still had a personality and he didn't say a damn word.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Good point. You got a good point, Amy.
Just. Okay, well my good point's already been on. Okay. So, general consensus again on this one was it's a no. So let's go into why. Okay. This is supposed to be an origin story, so this isn't technically a remake, really. But it's... Well, yeah. The first part of the film is an origin story, and then it turns into a remake. That's how it's sort of laid out.
Yeah, it was like one part origin, 2-part remake. It was like, what? Oh,
Prequel remake.
A pre-make.
Yeah.
Yay, we invented a word!
A crap make, because I can't say another word.
Yes. So I didn't mind what they did with the element of the origin of where her evil came from. I didn't contest it. So, if you haven't seen this film by now, well, lucky you. But hashtag spoilers, just in case. Maleficent ends up she trusts a human. They build a relationship as they are over their childhood, and then he comes back later on when he's an adult. And oh my god, the most horrible, awkward, just unnecessary rape metaphor in a children's film you have ever seen. Her wings are cut from her back. Now, you don't see that happen. You just see her, Angelina Jolie, doing her sort of reaction. Yeah. That exactly.
How did I sleep through that?
She was drugged.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was drugged.
Yes, a casual Disney film. She was drugged. Oh, and she had her wings stolen, and it's a rape metaphor. It was horrible, uncomfortable viewing, and I know that's the purpose of it, is to be uncomfortable. But this isn't. It's for kids. It's for kids. It's not. No. I'm going to rein myself in. The metaphor was unneeded, and it was uncomfortable for me more so because of Angelina Jolie's personal life, and But as an origin for why she was evil, I bought it. Fair enough. She's been harmed by humans, and therefore she hates humans, and becomes like, grr, and it's like, yeah, I bought it. The scene. One of the only scenes in the film that is comparable to the original source material. Sean, do you want to talk about it?
Alright, this is where the film goes from acceptable to...
Crap.
God, there's a stronger word.
There are very strong words.
The fact that you're using the word rape and I'm really trying to hold it in, not using other words here, is basically where the film goes to. This is the point where it goes from origin story to Sleeping Beauty remake.
Yeah.
And
the party scene.
This is where it goes crap. Basically, Maleficent comes in, they do the whole, she enters in and all that, and she does basically everything almost like line for line. And then she does the curse, which goes fine. She says she will prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and fall into a sleep like death. Not die, sleep like death. So she's still breathing.
Oh, they're hopeless. A disgrace to the forces of evil.
So that's when it went like, okay, we're knocking this down a bit now. That scene should sum up this film for you. Had good potential, was going the right direction in some areas, and then just decided to completely cop out.
Yeah.
Fools! Idiots! Imbeciles!
Oh yeah, rape's good, but death, we can't say that word.
Can't say that. It's the classic line. It is one of the most prominent lines in the original Sleeping Beauty. She will prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die. And it's so powerful. And they robbed this scene of that power. They drained it by being pathetic and sackless and just no.
It was weird as well because in the original she says that line, and then the mother's like, "Oh no!" and everyone's and King Stephen's like, "Sees that creature." She goes from being called an excellency from one curse, and then gets called a creature, and she's like laughing and basically messing with these people, whereas in this one, the Queen
says nothing.
The Queen says nothing. She has no say in this. The Stefan, who is now the bad guy in this film, goes, "I'm begging you."
Yeah,
It says nothing, but that's probably the sum of it, is that she doesn't say she'll die. She says she'll sleep, and I bet you King Stefan's like, oh, that's not bad. I wish I could sleep for eternity. I mean, I'm a bloody king. It's a 24-hour job here. I wish I could sleep for 24 hours at least. So, it was just... The execution was awful.
I just remembered another bad thing. Okay, Colt, you give a bad thing.
Oh.
I was going to say, it certainly says something when a film from the 50s has more guts to say die than a film from just a few years ago. But one thing that annoys me is towards the very end, spoilers, whatever kind of thing.
Spoilers.
Well, yeah, obviously because she already put the spell, it's now a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that's the thing. One of the things that Stefan did, just to be on the safe side, was to destroy all the spinning wheels in the kingdom, and yet when Aurora, I think her name was Aurora,
yeah,
she comes back, and one just magically comes back. It's like, I am fate. Prick your finger now, basically.
Well, if I could argue, funny enough, I can't believe I actually defended the film. in the end of the original, Maleficent transformed into a spinning wheel herself.
Oh.
She made her own spinning wheel. So I don't blame the fact that they made that. That actually wasn't a big thing for me, because Maleficent made her own spinning wheel because obviously they destroyed it.
Well, one of the things that was good about the original was the fairies, and like Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. They were fun to watch in the original, how they bickered and all that sort of stuff. In this one, because they're basically fairies, they have no contact with the human world outside of the castle, the festivities and all that sort of stuff, and they're tasked to taking care of a child. To me, I was like, hang on, these three fairies, like they're bickering. The baby's like off, like about to get killed by something else. Like, hang on, these fairies are more of a danger to Aurora than Maleficent is, and she's the one that put the curse in the first place. It's like, I'm like, yeah, I'd rather be in a death-like sleep than
live with you.
Literally die from these nitwits, basically.
They dug down. They basically whacked the fairies over the head with a sledgehammer and got them on their feet and said walk, pushed them and said walk, because they are so dumb.
They're so stupid.
There are stronger words to imply how dumb they are, but
we're not allowed to use them.
I'm not using them because I think that's actually harsh on other people. They are so stupid. They are Merryweather, Lorna and Fauna,
They were intelligent.
They were the main characters of this thing. If anything, it wasn't Aurora. They were the main good guys because they were the one protecting it and then trying to make everything right when they messed up.
In the original.
In this one, Maleficent finds them with less than a day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
16 years they have to wait. That she can't find them for what? Yeah. 16 years in the original Sleeping Beauty. All this time they've been looking for a baby. I love that. But right. Another thing I'm going to point out about these flipping fairies. Maleficent has her wings stolen, and then all of a sudden she decides she's Queen of the Moors. When Maleficent was a child, she was friends with the fairies and she would go and speak to them. And then we cut to the party after Maleficent's like, I am Maleficent. And the fairies are there, and King Stefan looks at them as if to say, what are you doing here? You weren't invited. And then the Queen says, they bring a gift for our daughter. As if to say, let them give a gift. Why are they there? Because if they're supposed to be, the king brought a war to the Moors. They know that. People have been trying to destroy the Moors, but the fairies are voluntarily, after everything the people have done, the humans have done, the fairies voluntarily just invite themselves to this christening type party to bestow a gift on a child whose father has done such evil, whose kingdom has done such evil to where they live. And after what the people have done to Maleficent, it's like they've completely backstabbed her. And I don't blame her for being like, oh, even the rabble, because why?
It actually justified. Whereas in the original, I can understand Merryweather being a bit miffed and going out trying to attack her.
You weren't wanted.
Yeah, exactly. Go and saying you weren't wanted. But in this one, I was just like, yeah, they're rebels. I don't care about them. They're absolutely stupid. They're not called Lorna, Fauna, or Merryweather. I don't know what their names were, but they actually stated different names.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
And they're just complete and utter. They're like the comic relief you wish would just go away.
Can we talk about how bad the CGI for them was, please? Because they were so bad.
God.
And then when they transition from CGI to human, it's so bad. Oh, no.
It says a lot when I found the 2D animation, which basically had them in regular size, and when they were tiny,
They were normal.
they were just tiny dots with
Yeah.
their specific colour
Like-
floating about the place.
little-
That was more convincing.
Like Navi from Legend of Zelda, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just so badly executed. It was just
Again,
awful.
another interpretation that just didn't work well.
What, but I just don't understand. Basically, it's another case of characters getting butchered
Yeah.
so that Angelina Jolie's Maleficent could get more screen time and basically take their traits.
Even the prince had less to do this time around, I think.
Oh, the prince was.
It's like,
The prince could have been cut out of the film. He was
Didn't
useless.
need to be there. Didn't need to be there at all. I mean, speaking of the prince, do you want to talk about the kiss?
Yeah, so basically, again, this is towards the very end, so spoilers again. Diddy kind of thing. Well, yeah, as in the original, it was true love's kiss that would break the spell. And it does follow, like, the steps, or with a few...
Just about.
Like, it goes, like, zigzag with, like... Because Maleficent works with the prince's time around instead of Sword of the Heart, which would have been epic. Well, basically, he kisses Aurora while she's asleep. Doesn't work. So, okay, it's like...
Because they've only known each other a day.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'll give it props for. That it owns up to the fact that somebody falling in love with someone in a day is bull. Because it's like Disney laughing at their own trait. That's the only good thing. I found a good thing by the end of this.
Well, to be honest, it's only a good trait when... It was a good trait in Frozen. It was a good trait in this one. It was a forceful joke they were trying to make because it was so obvious.
And yeah, so basically the true love comes from the true love of friendship. When Maleficent and Aurora built through years of talking to each other, hey, you're going to kill me soon, but I'm going to be best friends with you.
She didn't know that, but okay.
But it would have been okay had Frozen not only done it first, but did it better with sisterly love. That was more natural. That did it first. That did it better.
Yeah.
And Maleficent it just felt like Maleficent was just riding on it. On coattails, basically.
Yes.
So that was annoying. And it's like, another reason not to watch this film again. It's like, and including the guy, it's like, just a little trivia kind of thing. The guy who plays Stefan is the same guy from District 9. So we couldn't help make jokes.
Prawns.
It's like swearing, doing South African accents. It's like Richies, it's
I don't know what accent he was doing. He went from Scottish to... It looked like... It sounded like
Scottish.
It sounded like a South African trying to do a Scottish accent.
It's funny how...
Because it was a South African trying to do a Scottish accent.
It's funny how, for Disney, to be mad, just be Scottish.
Oh, but let's face it, King Stefan got, like you say, another example of characters that got butchered because Angelina Jolie's Maleficent has to be the good guy for at least 2/3 of this film.
Which is still an antagonist.
Stefan, who in the original was a concerned father who basically went to drastic measures to protect his daughter, and has basically waited years to reunite with her and just wants that moment. And in this one, because he's responsible for Maleficent's being evil, he gets paranoid and gets schizo and all that. He's like, oh, I'm talking to the wings. I have the wings on display and all that.
Everybody must be awake to make iron for me. Everyone.
There were so many directions they could have taken Stefan. This was not the one to take it. Stefan was a lovely character. And just to completely make him the bad guy, basically.
Awful.
Even when Aurora came back, he didn't whatever. Put it in the room. Put it in the room now.
So wrapped in his paranoia.
Father of the Year.
Yeah, exactly. It was just stupid what they did to him. I mean, you could have thrown anyone else in that role, even made up a brand new character who could have been like a puppet master who could have been pulling the strings or something like that. Instead of having these characters get absolutely butchered because Angelina Jolie needs to be the good guy.
That's my final negative about this. The original Sleeping Beauty, Maleficent was the villain. And when they announced that they were doing a film called Maleficent, I was excited because I thought it's going to be so different because we're going to focus on an origins and we're going to see how she became evil and we're going to have the opportunity to revel in it and enjoy the fact that she is so evil, because I know that for Sean, Maleficent is his favourite Disney villain. The scene where she's in the fireplace and she just appears and it's those eyes still gives him shivers.
Just talking about it.
They took one of their strongest, most powerful villainesses and they turned her into a good guy. And that is unforgivable and it's not acceptable. And that's why this film is so awful.
It just takes away the mystique because with the original Maleficent, she's just bad. It's like, but that was good because it just gave it a bit more charm. But this one,
I'm bad, and that's good. I will never be good, and that's not bad.
When you take away that charm and try to add something else that doesn't work, that's not compatible. Because she's mysterious. You don't know her backstory, but that just makes her more of a threat basically. Because you don't know what she's gonna do. With this one's like, because she was wronged, kind of thing. Feel sorry for her, basically.
Yeah, sympathetic towards a villain. No,
kind of thing. But it would have just worked well if you just hit not knowing about the villain, and it's funny how the less you know, the more interesting they are actually.
Yeah.
And that was the case where it just knowing more did less for her.
So, I think it's pretty obvious what our verdict's going to be, but I'm going to ask anyway. Colin, your verdict.
I'm just going to add a bit more, just to draw it out. First take again.
Sean, first take or remake?
I see something boiling inside him.
It's like, I can feel the
You know what? You could, just because I could throw a beep in. First take.
I'm going to agree. First take. 100% first take. Maleficent needs... No. And I've also got some bad news for you, because if you agree with everything we just said, they have announced a Maleficent 2 is in the works. How this film ended, right, the way Maleficent ended, I do not see how or where this Maleficent 2 is going to go, what the story is going to be. I don't know if we can drag ourselves to the cinema to watch it. But we'll wait and see.
Well, they did, like you said, when they did start this, they did say that this was meant to be like a Pirates of the Caribbean for Angelina Jolie.
Oh.
No.
Like that kind of franchise. But no. You don't need it. It's done. You butchered Maleficent. Now, loads of this generation are going to be like, oh, Maleficent's a character I can understand. No, Maleficent was a character you were meant to hate to love. Or love to hate. See, it's going to be that point. You're meant to love to hate this character. She was the King Joffrey of bloody Disney.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was... she was so evil. Just because she wasn't invited to a party... She basically cursed death on a kid.
A baby.
A baby.
And died.
And because for 16 years she relied on an imbecile... They were the stupid ones in the Sleeping Beauty original. The trolls who were like, oh, the cradles. We searched all the cradles. Your favourite bit, they've been looking for a baby and all that. That transferred to the fairies who just gave the kid on a silver platter to Maleficent, like in the first minute of their
well done trying to
adoption. Hide her. And she's just Angelina Jolie. You had everything was there. In the trailers, everything looked good in the trailers. The new version of Once Upon a Dream gave the tone of yes, this is going to be dark. This is going to be gritty. This is going to be evil, just like Maleficent. And no, you coughed out. You're like, oh God, this is a family picture. We better do something about it. So let's make Maleficent a anti-hero.
So in conclusion, the real villain of this film
It's
is
Disney. It's okay, sweetheart. I'll make you a hot chocolate and you can have a cuddle. Where's the Simba cushion?
Give me a sec.
You can find the Simba.
Get Bumper in here.
Thumper, cuddle Thumper.
Here.
No, you cuddle Thumper to comfort yourself.
Okay,
We'll cuddle
I'm
Simba.
not really bothered, but well,
No, give me back Bumper.
He wants Thumper. He's
Okay.
really. He's
It has nothing
really.
to do with Disney. Here, have Pikachu.
You have Pikachu.
Well, I
You
did
mentioned Pokemon.
Yeah, that's a joke.
There we are. Right. We're going to all console ourselves. This has been the end of part 1. If you want to see part 2, it will be coming up next week. And we'll be talking about Cinderella, Jungle Book, and Beauty and the Beast. So join us for that. Subscriptions are down below. Subscribe to us. Like our Facebook. Like our Instagram. All that good stuff. Oh, Twitter. We do Twitter too.
Yeah, we do.
And we will see you next time for more First Take or Remake.
These remakes!
It's alright, sweetheart. It's alright.